Hello.
Hey, what's that noise in the background?
I'd love to tell you, but I'd have to kill you. Basically, I'm under siege. We've got contractors in the house. We're ripping out the primary bathroom. It's been 4 weeks. I'm about to go insane. Can you tell?
And on this episode of Don and Gary Doing 60,
Don goes insane. So what are we talking about this week, Gary?
so the big topic will be all this P. Diddy doodah stuff.
There is so much there.
There's a lot. Oh my
So much
God.
there.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And then we'll filter in some other things.
Okay, and we'll just catch up with each other and tell each other what we've been up to, right?
Let's do it.
Okay, well, hold on tight. We'll be right back. Now it's quiet. Happens. You said this is live. This is the way it goes. If there's crazy sounds or whatever, it's not your television screen. Or sorry, it's not.
It's just life.
It's life. It's life in the fast lane.
Right now, it's your life.
So welcome to Don and Gary Doing 60. My name is Ivana Humpalot, and you are.
And I guess that would make me a lot of a China.
We're here to unwrap and unpack navigating the world at
Say it.
this age.
60 plus.
Yeah, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever amazing podcasts are found. We're on Instagram at Don and Gary Doing 60. And if you want to see the actual goods, you can watch.
Well,
Todd,
Don, I'm not showing my goods to just anyone.
The actual goods can be found on YouTube at Don and Gary Doing 60.
Oh, those goods. Okay.
Those goods, the PG goods.
Because I haven't showed my goods in quite a long time.
Au contraire, mon cher. I'm trying to air out everything, once in a while. So how's your week been going?
It's been good. Let me tell you this. This is my beginning of the fourth week of me working from home.
Oh, right.
I told you that we closed our office. And so starting October 1st, I've been working from home. So this is beginning of week 4. But here's the interesting thing. I knew that I'd be saving, obviously, travel time going to and from the office.
Yep.
Because I live in San Francisco. My office was in San Rafael, which is across the Golden Gate Bridge. It took me about 40 minutes in the morning. Coming back would be an hour or so, depending on traffic. But in those days, when I was traveling several days a week up there, I would fill up my gas tank once a week, $50. And then the bridge toll, just from Marin back to San Francisco each time, using the fast track is $9.25.
Wow.
Here I was in this disbelief. I was like, oh, it's 7 something. No, it's $9.25. So I did the math.
Track.
What's that?
With
That's
the
with the fast track.
So it's even more if you don't have the fast
Yeah,
track.
it's not that huge of a savings. So let's just say it's $10,
Okay.
with no fast track. Okay. But anyway, I did the math that for a 4-week period, I'm saving $365.
Yeah.
Just for gas and bridge toll only.
Yeah.
Now, set to the side wear and tear in the car, and then the fact that I don't have to, my commute is now from my bedroom to my dining room as opposed to, So I thought that was huge.
It is huge. And think of the amazing gift you can buy me with all that saved money.
Yeah, that's first on my list. But separately, have you renewed your passport, or do you need to renew your passport?
I renewed it last year, and I did make sure I got the full identification with that. I'm sorry, that's for my driver's license. I apologize. So yes, I did get my passport updated, but it was last year.
So all along, they say, oh, it's going to be at least 8 weeks. It's going to be a long time. And they want you to renew your passport so that if you have 6 months or less before it expires, you have to renew it before then. So if I'm planning to go somewhere out of the country in first quarter of 25, I need to have renewed my passport already. So I did it because mine is expiring in March. So I renewed it. And this is the crazy thing. I got it back 16 days later. I dropped it
That's
off
good.
at the post office on a Wednesday. Oh, no, that's very good.
Yeah.
I dropped it off on a Wednesday, and then Friday, 2 weeks later, so 16 days later, I got my passport back, my new passport.
Do you think
That's crazy.
that they kind of buffer that so people will actually get a fire under their butts and actually get in there and get this stuff done?
It could be that. I mean, with all the people that seems that are traveling, I would think that everyone's, a lot of people are renewing it.
Right.
Maybe I just hit a sweet spot where, it was just a downtime. I don't know. But I've never gotten it back that quickly.
Maybe they like the cut of your jib.
Well, they wouldn't be the first.
That's great, though. I mean, that's amazing considering they set you up for waiting, 2 months or something to get it
Yeah.
back. So, yeah, I mean, I think mine came back very quickly, too, surprisingly enough. But maybe we get priority seating because we're seniors.
Is that why? Because I'm
Maybe.
60.
How much longer can they be traveling?
Yeah. Honey, you better hurry up. You
Go
don't have that much more time.
Go travel now. We never know what's going to happen. You might not be able to find the plane or remember who to dial to get on a reservation.
That's right.
Okay,
So, one other quick update for those that are following me on my Ozempic journey.
Can I, before you start, I have to say, you
Yes.
look good, mister.
Oh, thank
You look good. You've got kind of a healthy, glowish swagger going on. I mean, you look at peace. And I mean, rest in peace. I mean, you look like you're centered. You look like you're happy. You look carefree. I don't know. Am I
Well, when I
wrong?
woke up Saturday morning and I weighed myself, it's like, hey, I'm down 30 pounds.
All right.
So that was kind of fun.
How does that feel? I mean, how does it feel different? Is it? I'm sure you feel good about it, but I mean, does
Yes,
it feel
definitely feel
different?
good about it. I mean, the visible things for me are, like I'm still wearing the same clothes that I've had. So like, the shirt's a little looser, the pants a little looser. I got to tug in the belt a little tighter. I was at a friend's house walking up some stairs wearing my same old jeans, and I'm like, these jeans are too big on me. So someone else, have you gone shopping? It's like, not yet, because I need to,
Yeah, give it. I mean, I shouldn't tell
Yeah.
you what to do, but I mean, give it a little bit longer because I mean, you're you're just starting the ride on the roller coaster.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
I mean,
So it's felt good. And for people that haven't seen me in a while in person, that's kind of, some nice surprise, like, hey, so had a few comments here and there. So it's been fun.
That's good.
And just, trying to be diligent about, like I did tell you, I did have a hamburger today for lunch. But
have a hamburger. So
yes.
what?
Well, because it came with bread.
Oh, wait. So sorry. Let's
Yeah.
backtrack. Are you off carbs completely?
No, not off carbs. Just trying to limit the number of carbs.
I hear you.
So that means like pasta, rice, bread. But like, for example, I found a bread at Safeway that's much lower in carbs than whatever I was buying before.
No.
So, and I did find a lower carb pasta than the standard ones you see on the store, like half the number of carbs, right? And same thing with cereal. I've just found options with better numbers for me. So yeah, I'm not avoiding them completely, but I'm also trying to be diligent. Like if I go to a restaurant, I've gone to an Italian restaurant, like I'll have the fish, as opposed to the raviolis.
Okay, a couple of questions, because are
Yeah.
you like me, like Oprah and me? We're like, I love bread. I love bread.
Like
I love
like Oprah. Yeah. Oprah loves bread.
She loves the bread, but I love the bread too.
I do, but here's what I do when I get to a restaurant and they bring the basket. I see them walking with the basket of bread. I'm just like, hold the bread. Yeah.
Ode to bread.
Hold the bread.
We might have to rechange the episode name to that. Ode to bread. But okay, so I'm kind of a little intrigued because I mean, there's some things that I'd like to adjust in my behavior of eating and drinking and so and so. But I mean, is it okay to talk about it? How did you get there? How did you make that turning point decision? Like, basically you're changing a habit, right?
Right. So I was already doing a lot of things like, roasting a lot of veggies. And so I would do like veggies with chicken or veggie with pork, slice all that up and then put it in little containers. So I had a bunch of meals for the next several days. I was doing a lot of that. I don't eat fried foods. I don't buy things that I know I'm going to like a bag of cookies. I'll finish off in one night. Right.
tell me about
So I'm not buying chips and cookies and I'm a huge dessert person, but I've been good about, you know, out of every 10 meals, I might have one dessert, you know, type of thing. So it's just adjusting that. But also, I mentioned before when I went to the endocrinologist, who's the doctor who's actually given me the, you know, Ozempic pens, in her office, she had me meet with a nutritionist. Right. So just getting that knowledge, you know, for individual, like, she kind of demonstrated and showed me, look at this, do this, and gave me some formulas. And then I just took that information, went to the grocery store, and I'd pick up a box of something like, nope, put it back.
Right.
Nope, put it back. And then I just, through searching online at the stores, I found substitute items that were better nutritional value for me. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not, you know, may not be the same for you, but one suggestion might be through your doctor is, you know, maybe talk to a nutritionist if that's the change you want to make in how you're eating. But you eat pretty healthy. So.
Well, yes and no. I'm not as healthy, but I guess that, you know, I'm more intrigued by the way you changed behavior, because there was a pivot point somewhere. I think we're going to make this another topic of another episode, but I'm intrigued because, you know, you're basically saying, of course I understand all the research behind it, but I like to look at it as like kind of a campaign. Like my new campaign is going to be, you know what, I'm making a difference. I'm going to change something. So there has to be a pivot point where you stop and you turn and, you know, you do that thing. Do you know when that happened for you? So
I mentioned in a previous episode was that at the end of last year, I'm not one to make New Year's resolutions, but it's like I was just frustrated with myself that like nothing's happening, and it's not, you know, no one's going to make the changes but you. You know, for you to lose weight, you have to do the work. You can't rely on someone else. And I was never going to do any of those, like, as I mentioned, with the gummies or the eat this, you know, thing, and then I don't have to exercise or diet or anything. I just have to eat my pill. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. So when I met with my primary care doctor, I said, look, I've heard about all these weight loss medicines that are out there for people with diabetes. And by the way, one of the side effects is you lose weight. It's like, okay, well, that would help me with diabetes and also help me lose weight. So that's when he sent me to the endocrinologist. And she put me on that and then set me up with the nutritionist. So by doing the Ozempic and getting the information, it's all on me, of course, to follow the steps and do the work, which I did. I did a lot of homework and spent hours at grocery stores just like literally looking at what do I need to look at. And I don't sit there and, I mean, I do, like for my cereal, I do measure portions, right? The rest of it, like the veggies and all that, you know, I have these small-ish containers. So when I make a big batch, I put it in that. So I'm not using bigger containers, smaller ones. Okay. And then I can get, you know, 6 meals out of one batch of food, for example. And I'll put some in the freezer. And so I'm just disciplined about that. I have no problem eating leftovers. You know, I'm going to make something that I like.
Sure.
Right. So it's the vegetables that I like with the protein, and obviously I speak, you know, flavorful and so on. And then just discipline myself on, you know, don't bring the stuff into the house that you don't want in the house.
I think that's a big one. That's a big one.
Because I know if I do it, ice cream, cookie, whatever it is, it's not going to last.
Yep, I agree. I'm kind of coming off the same thing when I've been, you know, we've been on all this campaign of been in Palm Desert. I was helping with another project for work and blah, blah, blah. But I was not eating well there. I bought the ice cream. I bought 2 quarts of Ben & Jerry's and put it in the freezer. I would go every night to order, you know, Thai food or pizza or whatever because it's on the company dime. But it's also one of the things where I didn't care because I was also by myself and I didn't have those parameters around me. Yeah. But I definitely, you know what, I came off that week feeling kind of crummy. Mm-hmm. And it takes a couple days to come off of crummy. And I've noticed that even today, it took me from the weekend, it took me a full 2 days to go through. I do the pressed juicery thing. And they actually have a cleanse, which is actually something you do in the morning, which is like lemon and cayenne and these things, but actually just kind of wakes up your system. But I noticed it took me 2 days today. I didn't eat anything from Starbucks. I didn't have, you know, spinach feta wrap or a bacon whatever, and I didn't have this and I didn't have that. I had strawberries and blueberries and some yogurt, and I feel so much better throughout the day. So I guess I need like you, I've got to find a way to pivot and say, you know what, wouldn't you rather feel better all the time than feeling crummy sometimes just because you did something bad the day before? Wouldn't you like to feel better longer?
And it's just about making, the better choice. So
Yes.
when I've gone out to a restaurant with friends, they're like, oh, are you going to be okay at this restaurant? Like, even if it's a pasta restaurant,
Right.
they're going to have other stuff other than pasta. And so I'll just, like I said, I'll go for the fish. I'll have the salad or something else.
Yeah.
That's still going to be hearty and healthy.
It's going to taste good.
It's going to taste good, right?
Right.
So now I'm not sitting there eating, celery sticks and carrot sticks while they're having a big old side of beef and mashed potatoes and dripping in gravy, right?
But I think you're onto something too with the shopping habits, because I brought home a whole 12-pack of Trader Joe's peanut butter and chocolate JoJo's for Halloween or something. And why the hell did I buy those? Because I ate 3 of them last night, and guess what? I felt horrible after I ate them.
Yeah.
I don't mean horrible like guilty, just horrible like I didn't feel good. So anyway, so I know we went down a rabbit hole with that, but I'm very impressed, Gary. This is a
thank
really
you.
cool
Yeah,
thing.
Yeah, and I just, and I'm just like when we talked about, like, if you don't go to the gym or something, I'm not beating myself up if, like, today I had the hamburger. You know what? It was good. So, okay,
Have the
I had
friggin'
hamburger.
hamburger.
It's okay.
Life
Because,
is
again, the
short.
bread is not bad. You just don't want to have I don't want to make a habit of.
Well, I mean, I know some people that order, a burger or whatever, and they always take the bread away or take half of it away or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, I think you can't hold yourself to such a high standard that you just
Right.
are abstaining completely from things. Because what's the joy in life for that when you need your hamburger buns every once in a while?
I'm not going to be deprived, Don. It's like a Fatal Attraction. I'm not going to be ignored, Dan. So in this guy, I'm not going to be deprived, Don.
Oh God, another episode. We got to change the title again. It's got to be that now. Anyway, so sorry.
Now I was going to say, tell me what's going on. I mean, you're in the middle of something.
Yes.
Because we don't hear it now, but there was noise in the background earlier.
Yes, and I apologize all of our hundreds of thousands of listeners. If you did get some bad audio there, we do have some construction taking place in the house right now. Primary bathroom is being basically gutted, so today's tile day. So I don't want to show you the back behind me because basically everything's in covered sheets. I'm hermetically sealed in the living room with a big piece of plastic that has a red zipper on it, which I'll probably place on the Instagram so you can see what that's like. But that's been like this for the last maybe 3-4 weeks, and we have about 3 or 4 weeks to go. So
Been a while, yeah.
yeah, so that was fun. We finished off the remodels in Palm Springs with the bathrooms over there. For some reason, we were on a bathroom palooza.
Yes, you
So I had to
were.
fix everything up, but it was great because we got to be down there in conjunction with my work taking place over in Palm Desert. So there was some stuff going on.
Oh, that was good timing then. So
yeah,
you basically planned that, or did that just happen?
No, I planned it. We planned
Okay,
it that way because of
good.
the idea that I'd be able to be there while the work was
Perfect.
going on. So blah blah blah, yada yada yada. So that's fine. I'm kind of getting back into the groove. I want to feel like I want to get into holiday mode because our birthdays are done, so that
Yeah.
season's over.
Right.
And then Halloween's coming up. By the time this shows, maybe we'll be past Halloween, but we'll be into the election cycle, which has already started. So
Oh my
maybe
God,
we'll
it's
talk
all
about
coming
that
real
next
quick.
time. It's only in about, I believe, 15 days where this takes place. So get out there and vote. Everybody,
Yes.
please get out there and vote. I just dropped mine off today. Our ballots were dropped off in one of those.
And if you're still
hermetically
undecided
sealed-
at this point, I can't help you.
I'm not undecided. Believe me.
No. I'm for anyone out there who's still undecided. It's like,
if you're undecided,
I can't help you.
Get out there and vote. No, and you should be decided by now because,
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's a good thing. So voting felt good to get voting done. And then, like I said, I'm kind of gearing up towards what the holidays are. But it's so warm here right now, and I don't know where you're at because you usually get a nice Indian summer in the Bay Area too.
yeah, today there was a little bit of a chill in the air, but it was fine.
Okay.
So I don't really know what the temperature was, but
Okay.
I'll tell you right now. Right now, the temperature here in San Francisco is, let's see, what is it?
I won't tell you mine.
Yeah, 63. So
Okay.
not that hot.
Not to outdo you, but we're at 73.
Ah,
So,
of course.
yeah, but it's like it doesn't feel like autumn has kicked in yet, except
Yeah.
in the morning and
Yeah.
maybe at night. So I'm looking forward to fall.
Yeah.
I want to make soup. I want to bake. I want to do stuff like that. So
Yeah.
all of that's all good and dandy. I was just thinking maybe we should take a little break before we start our next
Sure.
segment because
We can do
I
that.
I need to regather my thoughts, put our circles in our circles, And God, because there's a lot to talk about, with who.
I'll give you a little hint. I call it P. Diddy Doodah.
Dum, da, dum. We'll be right back.
And we're back.
We're back.
Don and Gary doing 60. He's Don. I'm Gary.
No, I'm Ivana Hump a lot, and you're
A lot of vagina.
Banned.
Okay, so the two big stories going around these days, of course, are the election, which we're a couple weeks away.
Yep.
But then, since the middle of September, Puff Daddy, P Daddy, Sean Combs, all of them, one person, got arrested.
Yep.
And it has become the story that you can't get enough of, or you can't hear enough about.
Even if you
because
don't
every
wanna hear
time
enough
I
of it.
turn on Facebook,
Yep.
there's more stories, more reels, more admissions, more suggestions, innuendo. So I want to break it down this way. So I did a little history, a little write up. So he got arrested on September 16th, but they'd been following him and trailing him for quite a while, investigating for quite a while.
Because who made the arrest? Do you remember? Who
The
did it?
FBI.
The FBI. So yeah, they've probably been tracking for a while.
And 3 federal charges that he was arrested on September 16th. But prior to that, it was all kind. And I think they raided his home before that, blah blah. But with the all evidence they collected, they arrested him September 16th. 3 federal charges: racketeering, which I had to look it up just to make sure I understood, the act of acquiring or controlling a business through illegal activity, or using a business to commit a crime. Second charge was sex trafficking, human trafficking for the purpose of sexual exploitation, a form of modern slavery because of the way victims are forced into sexual acts non-consensually. And the third one is transportation with intent to include prostitution. So there's been all these allegations, lawsuits from other people, raids on his home, and then even though I didn't realize this video they released of him beating the crap out of a woman in a hotel was from 2016.
Yes.
So all this stuff is boiling up, but what you're hearing from all these stories, allegedly, is that there's so many other people involved. It's like anyone and everyone who's in Hollywood or in the music industry either knows about it and is not saying anything, they're involved, they're implicated, or they're a victim, or they're the ones controlling everything. So I broke it down into different categories, and just step in when you want. So the ones who are doing all the talking when you turn on social media, the main one is this woman named Jaguar Wright.
She has taken over my feed on YouTube and Instagram. Everywhere.
She does
She's
podcasts. She was on, who's the British guy? Piers Morgan.
Yes.
She was on his talk show, all kinds of podcasts, interviews. And she's been talking about this for years and warning everyone. And I don't know what her connection is, but she knows everybody and knows everything. And she's like adding more names, adding to the fire. A couple of people talking are Jason Lee, that's a podcaster, Cat Williams, who is a stand-up, but then I guess that's a podcast, and then a couple others, Orlando Brown and a guy named Toure, Tour apostrophe E. So they're the ones that most of the ones doing the talking. And what they've insinuated, allegedly, that some of the bigwig moguls in the music industry are the ones who are kind of controlling everything and working the wires. Clive Davis of Arista Records.
That. Yep.
Tommy Mottola of Sony Records. He's the one that was married to Mariah many years ago. Harvey Weinstein, Miramax Films, who's already in prison. Quincy Jones, mega producer. And a new name that just came up I hadn't heard of, Lucian Grange, who's the CEO of Universal Music Group.
Okay.
So apparently, allegedly, they're the ones who they're behind everything. So they're the ones who brought Diddy in, blah blah blah, and then the ones who are not talking. Suddenly, I mean, there's pictures of them with him and with all these other moguls over the years at different events, but suddenly, no talking.
Yeah.
Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, Jay-Z and Beyonce. They apparently are being made out to be controlling a lot of it, and Will and Jada Pinkett Smith, not talking. Jennifer Lopez, not talking. Usher, 50 Cent, Pharrell, Drake, Kevin Hart, Kanye West. So all these are ones like they know him, they're friends with him, but suddenly I don't know anything about it. I never went to any of his parties. It's freak out is what they call. I never got any.
Yep.
Other names who are mentioned doesn't mean they're guilty, but they're somehow associated in some way. You're not quite sure, innocent or not, allegedly. I'm going to run a bunch of whole names. Mariah Carey, Steve Harvey, Mike Tyson, Cuba Gooding Jr., Jennifer Hudson, Rihanna, R. Kelly, Leonardo DiCaprio, Ashton Kutcher, Lizzo, LL Cool J, Ellen DeGeneres, Chris Brown, Bruno Mars, Nicki Minaj, the Kardashians. Well, they should take all of them away anyway. Claudia Jordan, who's a model / actress, Millie Bobby Brown, Billie Eilish. Again, doesn't mean that they're all guilty of anything, but there's some connection somewhere here and there.
And what I've heard about some of these names, or many of these names, is that they actually attended some of these parties. They went to the white parties, which is what you said they were called, not the freak-offs. Some of them,
right. There'd be like multiple stages to these parties.
Yes.
It'd be the general, everyone's, go to the party. And then at a certain time, it becomes the after party. And then the after party, where everything really goes raunchy and drugs and multiple sex partners. And something about baby oil, where they put something in the baby oil and put it on you and it does something to your body.
That's one of the allegations too, but there was another allegation I had heard about where he, at one point, at whatever, and again, allegedly, was where he would offer everyone a drink, and they said, you can't come into this, go past this point, or go continue with the party until you finished this drink. I've never heard about the baby oil. I just heard that it was crazy that were like 1,000 bottles discovered in his house or something. And
the video I just saw either last night or today was where P. Diddy and Ellen were hosting some event where they're all going to go on his yacht.
Oh.
And these are known celebrities. They're getting in the shuttle that is going to take them to the yacht, and he's collecting everyone's phones to put in a bag. Like, we'll give you your phones after the yacht. So they didn't want anyone filming anything.
Yeah.
So, it was, and apparently they didn't realize they were being filmed, but whatever. And then you talk about the alleged victims. Something happened to them or was done to them. The main one being Justin Bieber. Because he and Usher both went under P. Diddy's care as like he was like their mentor when they were each teenagers.
Yeah, that's a kind of a sketchy phrase too, but go on.
Yeah. Will's son Jaden Smith. Again, victims, like when stuff happens to people, it's like, who is behind that? Like when Wendy Williams had her, episode and fainted on her show, and then now she's, kind of, whatever. Wendy Williams. And then there's people who have died mysteriously. And it's like, who among all these, like, was it one of the moguls, whatever, was behind something tied into their death? All died mysteriously. Kim Porter, who is P. Diddy's girlfriend. Aaliyah, a singer who died in a plane
crash. That, and that's when I heard from Jaguar saying that she alleged that he had something to do with this.
Right. Kathy White, who was Jay-Z's, allegedly, pregnant girlfriend, died mysteriously. Kobe Bryant, basketball player who died in a plane crash because he had gone to some parties and whatever. Again, whether it's all alleged and circumstantial, whatever. Joan Rivers' mysterious death. Because some of these people were talking and sharing stuff and talking bad about them. So to get back at them, again, Prince, Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, all who died super mysteriously. Tupac, who was gunned down. Jamie Foxx, who almost died. One of the latest stories was allegedly that he had witnessed some stuff, and to silence him, they used either the drink or the baby oil on him, and that nearly killed him. Remember, he was out for commission for
and he never
several
truly
months.
Disclosed what was wrong.
Right.
Did he?
And allegedly, he's the one who called the FBI on them.
So what? Really?
With all these videos, again, you don't know what's true, what's not, but it's just so out of this world, so big, so huge, and involving so many people. Some who could be witnesses, some could just be caught innocently. But it's interesting that those people that were shown in a photograph or maybe had some social media stuff, they're deleting everything.
Oh, that's what I was going to mention because everybody that you mentioned, especially Usher, Bieber, Beyonce, and Jay-Z, they're basically going back and eliminating prior videos. So they're kind of sorry, that's the wrong word. Washing their social media to take all of those incriminating, but misleading to the idea that Diddy had something to do with this by taking them out of their feeds.
Right.
Usher was one of the first ones to get rid of everything too. But I do have a stat here. Apparently, 3,285 individuals have come forward with claims of victimization so far.
Wow, I hadn't heard that.
And that his firm has engaged 120 people to bring civil claims against the rapper. Half of the accusers are men and half are women. Furthermore, 25 of the accusers were minors at the time of the alleged incidents.
Right.
So gender's not off the table. It doesn't matter whether you're a man or woman.
Oh,
it
no.
doesn't matter how old you are or were. But there's quite a bit going on with that too. And Ashton Kutcher was one. The rumor I heard about Ashton Kutcher was that Mila Kunis, his wife, actually moved out of the house. Did you hear about that? Because he was associated with P. Diddy with the Punk'd show. That's where he was like they got to know each other on Punk'd a long time ago, and Kutcher was just starting. But since again, Kutcher has also wiped all of his social media too.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's that. Oh, did you about Jody Siwa too? Siwa's basically they're trying to say. Here's another thing that that there's a viral conspiracy about thanking Beyonce so she wouldn't hurt them.
Right.
So Jody's is it Jody? No, JoJo Siwa was the last one to thank Beyonce.
Right.
Taylor Swift thanked Beyonce. There's a bunch of people. Adele and Lizzo were thanking Beyonce after they're receiving awards for whatever reason. Because maybe she didn't receive an award, but they were acknowledging her on stage, so she wouldn't retaliate.
So they wouldn't wake up with a dead horse head next to them in bed.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of crazy, but I guess one of the couple questions I have about it's like with Epstein, because this is very Epstein-like.
Yes.
With the same kind of incriminating evidence towards a lot of very high-profile.
And he died mysteriously too.
Yes, but did we ever really get all the story on any of it, or because we heard a lot of drips and drabs and
Wasn't the story that he hung himself?
Yes, but I meant when it comes to all those people that are associated with him, because the nominee for president is one of those people too. I won't say his name, but he was also one of the things associated with Epstein at one point.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like there's a lot of people, but I guess I don't know, it's like it's kind of a dark matter, but I mean, I wonder how incriminating all this is, and will it be swept away or swept under or swept out of our memory, because the public doesn't remember stuff very long.
I imagine at some point, because there's videos and there's evidence of stuff, right? So as they dig through all that, they're going to be doing some interrogations, and I think those people that get interrogated, my guess is they're going to want to talk to save themselves.
Did you hear that 50 Cent is actually going to start a documentary about this whole thing and how it affects people? He's going to be there's so much to this.
Oh, it's going to go on for years, and it's involving everyone. It's basically going to rip open all the darkness and everything of Hollywood, the music industry, and heads are going to roll.
Yeah, and I'm oddly and darkly amused by all of this, because all these people that are held in such high esteem in the industry, with all the names you mentioned, could somehow be implicated in wrongdoing.
And it's the ones that are in power who want to silence someone else for something they may say against them. So there was some video of Anne Hayes, who died several years ago.
Yeah.
But it was alleging that a former girlfriend had something to do with her death.
The E word? Really? Mm-hmm. See, here's the challenge of all of this. Because Jaguar, the woman who's actually speaking out, I was trying to link her and find out where her link to him. I think she was on a couple of his songs, on a couple of his albums.
Okay.
So they had worked somehow, but not very closely. Mm-hmm. But also she's very vocal, and I'm wondering, like, what they get out of being very vocal other than "I told you so"? There's if you look at the feeds on Instagram, there's another guy. He's very religious. I don't know his name, but he also posts a lot of stuff about Bieber. Showing all those things where basically, and I'm sure you might have mentioned this, but basically, Diddy and he were in. He had. I don't know what you call it, like not conservatorship or not. He was like the guardian for a couple of days, where he's very obviously.
They talk about a 48-hour period and what happened during those 48 hours, but
I don't know that it works that way because he was underage at that point, so guardianship has to be given by the parent, I'm assuming. And what does guardianship mean? It's like, well, I give guardianship to Diddy and to Usher, and who gives guardianship of their kid to anyone who's underage?
Yeah.
So I mean, I got to go back to some of the parent stuff, but that's a whole other topic. I guess I wonder, like, money obviously corrupts people in certain ways,
and power,
because
you get status and power.
Yep. He's quite the businessman, or was.
And then you get other people who are coming up in the ranks who maybe pose a threat to you. Mm-hmm. So they're not going to take my seat. So the only way to stop it is to
Well,
there was an interesting. I've never seen this video of Michael Jackson speaking in front of a group, and at first he said, "Please, no one tape this, no one record this." But they did, and in the end he said, "Yeah, just go ahead and release it." And it was about he was bad mouthing Tommy Mottola, the head of Sony Records, because he used to be with Sony, and he wanted to break his contract or leave them, but he was obligated to do one more album. Mm-hmm. And he was basically bitching about that in front of I don't know if it was who he was speaking to, but he's up on stage with a microphone talking, and so it's like now it's like, well, since Michael died so mysteriously, did allegedly Tommy have something to do with it?
Wow.
I don't. So there's so many insinuations and so many winks about what about her and what about him. It's huge. It's big. So I would say it's the number 2 story underneath the election. I would say it might be hovering at the same place, honestly. Yeah.
I guess the other thing I would ask you, if you think about, I mean, this is nowhere near the level of what's taking place with this guy, but remember Ellen had a huge fall from grace also.
Yeah. Right.
And basically her audience and the public turned on her completely, and she went out of her show kind of dishonored, I guess, or with a bad label on her back, and she came back with a number of I don't know. Do you have any idea how long Ellen's been off the air? I have no idea. 10 years?
No, not just a couple of years, I think.
A couple of years, okay.
And then she did a Netflix special and said that was going to be the last time she would perform in public.
I just saw that. I did see that. So she did mention it a number of times being, and it's not the first time she'd been dismissed from television either. When she came out on the Ellen show, she was, sponsorship was dropped and she basically lost her show. She had to disappear, reinvent, and she came back. But I guess the question is, if these allegations were absolutely true, which she denies, it's odd to me that the public doesn't forget, they do forget. They do forget about this, and eventually, although her reception to this Netflix special she just did was a little tepid, it wasn't really. There was definitely detractors from it when it comes to being, popular on Netflix. But there's always going to be that naysayer, the person pushing against it. I just wonder, where the other shoe's going to fall here. Because I think the other thing, I'm going around in a lot of different topics, but didn't Diddy want to get out of the prison he's in right now because the conditions are horrible?
Oh, I haven't heard. I didn't know anything about that.
I heard that, and they denied that so far. And they feel like he's a flight risk in some respects. And he was on suicide watch.
Oh.
But they took him off of suicide watch. But he's still in the same prison right now. So I guess, my big question is, do you think people will forget this? I mean...
Well, the way it's being spoken about on social media, at some point there's going to be it a trial or just more investigations and bringing in some of those folks I mentioned for questioning, And, the TMZs and all the other tabloids are going to be
Eating it up.
covering that.
Yeah, there's blood in the water, right?
So I don't know. It's not going to go away quietly. They're talking about him like potentially being in prison for life.
Really? Is it that extreme? Because I was hearing like 15 years or something.
And I wonder if it's a matter of not only these 3 federal charges, but all the other, they're piling on all these other,
Right.
you mentioned, so many other people who have filed a lawsuit.
Wow.
Like a former president. There's a lot of court dates up in his future.
Don't get
I'm
me
just
started
saying.
on that.
So yeah, it's funny. I typed out this list. I was writing on a piece of paper, and I know let's put it in a piece of paper, and that's when I categorized them. And then that was like 3 days ago, and every single day I've added more. I must have added like 25 more names,
Really?
handwritten, since I printed this out. It's just like more people's names just come up.
And it's not done being talked about because
No.
there's so many people involved and so many substantial entertainers out there.
Right.
My pages are highlighted by the same things you covered. So it's funny because you talked about everything that I found, but it's amazing how quickly and how fast people are taking all this information in. And people are making jokes about it now, like, don't be P. Diddy me. So
Yeah.
it's like, we'll see where it lands.
That's just
it's
crazy
sad.
talk.
It's sad, but if any of it's true, I wonder if we'll ever hear it. That's because those are pretty big allegations. But again, back to his business, that business is going to crumble because I believe he has a vodka, at least he has a vodka. He was running talent management. He did all kind. He had his fingers in a lot of different things.
Right.
So where does that all go? It goes away probably.
Or gets signed off to his kids. I don't know how many kids he has, but who knows?
Kids, I don't know. The kids are probably.
Because
gonna wanna lay low, too.
I'm sure some are legitimate businesses, so they could. Who knows? I don't know. So anyway, now
That was
what all
good
this has to do with us being 60, I don't know, but I just had to talk
How
about
old
it.
is Diddy? He's 50 something.
Probably in his 50s, yeah.
Okay, well he'll get there eventually. Well,
Right.
hopefully.
Well,
yeah.
we may not see him turn 60, but
Well, it doesn't matter because that's a good bunch of dish to talk about.
Oh, my
so, we'll
goodness.
have to come back and visit it too.
the
later
P
when it
Diddy
comes
Doodah.
back. P Diddy Doodah Dum Dum Dum.
I feel much better. I feel much lighter now that I've talked about it.
Well, I guess we're ready to close it down.
Sure.
What do you think? Well, I do want to also mention that I'm very excited because we are going back with Ain't Nobody Got Time for That again. We've got some great guests lined up. We're actually queuing the guests up. So if you haven't been queued up yet to join us on Ain't Nobody Got Time for That, why aren't you? Why aren't you in line?
TikTok.
Well, yeah, because I'm going to come knocking on your door. That's how I recruited the other ones. I just started knocking, and I didn't stop knocking.
And the next one we record is going to be a twofer.
Yes. Oh, that's right. Don't give it away, but it's like
I'm not going to give it away. I'm
Yeah,
just telling
you
you it's a twofer.
it's a twofer. So yeah, maybe we'll just call it the twofer episode. Anyway, are we good? You wanna
I
shut
think
it
we're
down?
good.
Okay. Thank you for joining us on Don and Gary Doing 60. We hope you enjoyed spending quality time with us, and join us next time as we navigate the world at this age. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever amazing podcasts are found. We're on Instagram at Don and Gary Doing 60. And if you want to see the actual goods, you can watch the full episode on YouTube at Don and Gary Doing 60. And if you haven't noticed a trend, you can also email us at Don and Gary. You can
At gmail.com.
Good job. Good. Don and Gary Doing 60 at gmail.com. Okay, Gary. Well, this was fun, very informative, very interesting, very intriguing. Very intriguing. So,
Till the next scandal.
yes, till the next scandal. Maybe next week. Oh, I'm so excited.
Oh, wait, you know what? The next
What?
time we're on air, we could be talking about, well, we will be talking about a new president.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So please.
Which way will it go?
Please get out there and vote. Every vote counts. It's important. We talked about demographics last time and how that could help sway the vote, but everyone needs to vote. Whatever your predilection is, whoever you want to vote for. Right?
Although we hope you vote for the right person.
Exactly. Okay.
Just saying.
Okay. Well, we'll see you next time. I'll probably edit out that pre-reticulation thing because it's not really.
No, I think you should keep it.
Okay. Okay. Let it go. I'll talk to you later. Take care.
All right. See you next
Bye.
time.